The social media network can change those things at any point in time. They can move them, they can change something. One example is Facebook, and Facebook has done this. They have changed privacy settings so that what you set before is eliminated.
What is the age, like appropriate age to have social media?
Appropriate age for social media. Very important. Dear parents, are you there? We are actually fighting for you.
There's just a lot of resources for adults and children. A lot of cyberbullying because it's such a big, serious issue. And there's just a lot of information and a lot of help for.
Write it down in bold letters so that when we are reading it out later in our panel, it can visibly be seen so that you get an appropriate answer for that.
Hi, Ricky Henry Live.
Ricky Henry Live. Woohoo! Shout out to Ricky Henry Live.
Canada, are you ready? The Amara Girls Initiative brings you another edition of the Global Conference on Girl Child Empowerment 2025. This will take place between the 20th to the 23rd of March 2025 at Woodbine Banquet and Convention Hall, located at 35 Regent Boulevard, Toronto, Ontario, M9W 7A. This will be hosted with a purpose to empower a girl child to change the future. Don't miss to be part of this initiative. Register today and get your ticket at $600 Canadian for exhibitor, $400 for international delegate. Tickets for international students at $300 Canadian, $200 for local students, and $150 Canadian for Canada citizens. For more information and booking, call +1647 616 1415 or visit our website on www.theamaragirls.org. Together, let's champion the girl child.
To which my answer is, but you know what Valerie is. So
Many times we say there must have been signs and there must have been some kind of way of you knowing that they were at risk for this, but it's absolutely not so. It's absolutely not so. I'm a Greek educator also, and there's something that we have realized family doesn't know. They themselves doesn't even know that they're going to do it. It's something that many times it's like spur of the moment that may take place. They might have ideas, but actually carrying out the act is not something that is really planned out. It's sometimes, it's like there's a switch and it's just executed. In the 21st century, the mental health crisis among youth is escalating, and the digital nature of cyberbullying makes...
And this is another one, needhelpnow.ca. I really recommend this one for any young person, especially anyone that might worry about images that they've sent, because there's
and strategies. We must remember that youth are not just passive victims. May I see the next slide, please? Thank you. So, yes. So youth as leaders of change. Promote digital literacy and citizenship. Be active upstanders, not bystanders. Foster a culture of empathy and respect. Leverage hashtag activism. We've gone through that, haven't we? No, go back, please. Advocate for policies and legal protection, create safe spaces and support groups, partner with social media platforms. I'm going to repeat again. We must remember that youth are not just passive victims in the digital age. They are also agents of change, powerful advocates who can stand up against bullying and cyberbullying. Community-based organization can establish a partnership with a youth voice collective, and this is what's happening here. This is a community-based organization. Establish a partnership with a youth voice collective, vocal youths who want to advocate for change, to provide mentorship, and we have many youth in the room, so we can engage them to be vocal, we can engage them in mentorship, so that they can be the agents of change agents that we're looking for. Coaching and leadership support for the community youth voice collective to advance the advocacy campaign for the empowerment of youth against cyberbullying and bullying. Let me see the hands of the youth who would want to be advocates in this mission. You don't need to be afraid, because it's allowing you to be able to stand and say no, like we're hearing to say no, but no at what level? Let me see your hands, or lift your hands high. Sister Daphne, you need to take note of these youth, because you started this, so you need to make sure it's continued by engaging these young people, because they are intelligent, they're smart, and it's their space, they know what to do. So giving them the ability and the opportunity to do so will make a difference. The power of youth in combating bullying and cyberbullying. First, and safely. However, this also exposes them to greater risk of cyberbullying. A significant portion of bullying today occurs online, where anonymity often embodies perpetrators. According to research, nearly 59% of US teens have experienced some form of bullying. And according to Statistics Canada, 1 in 4, which is 25% youth tagged, youth aged 12 to 17 in Canada reported experiencing cyberbullying in the past year. This shows the growing prevalence of online harassment, bullying among young people as social media use increases. Cyberbullying can take many forms, including threats, insults, and exclusion from online communities, and it's disproportionately us, or I'm going to take my child from this school. But everyone is on the computer. Everyone is on the phone. They spend more time on the phone and on these devices than with family or anywhere else. Therefore, when a person is experiencing cyberbullying, it's hard to get away from that. Because we can't say to the young people, don't go on media. Don't use media. Because that's their life. That's what they do. Women that are affected when it comes to bullying or cyberbullying. So it said, and First Nation youth, the risk of higher among those who use social media frequently. Given these statistics, addressing cyberbullying is crucial to ensuring the mental and emotional well-being of Canadian youth, and the points to the need of immediate action to provide youth and the risk to navigate these digital environments safely. So as I said earlier, helping our young people, guiding them in the right way to use social media will be a great advantage to how we decrease the risk of cyberbullying. Mental health crisis among youth. Bullying, especially cyberbullying, has been strongly linked to mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, and in severe cases, suicidal ideation. And we see that many times when a person commits suicide, many times we say there must have been signs and there must have been some kind of way of you knowing that they were at risk for this, but it's absolutely not so. It's absolutely not so. Created a false image of somebody and was sending negative message out to the point she attempted suicide, not knowing it was her friend. So these are things that we have to be careful of, even as parents, as we educate our children, our youth. But empowerment doesn't happen automatically. It requires three things: education, skills, and support. Education, understanding the problem. As a psychiatrist, as a psychologist, when I'm dealing with a client, I always like to say, let's go to the root of the problem. What is the root? And my background is also in nursing, so you always try to find out what is the foundation, what is the fundamental, what is the basis of what is creating the problem. To combat bullying, I'm a Greek educator also, and there's something that we have realized is that many times when a person commits suicide, family doesn't know. They themselves doesn't even know that they're going to do it. It's something that many times it's like spur of the moment that may take place. They might have ideas, but actually carrying out the act is not something that is really planned out. It's like there's a switch and it's just executed. In the 21st century, the mental health crisis among youth is escalating, and the digital nature of cyberbullying makes it particularly harmful, as victims are often unable to escape their tormentors even outside of school. Empowering youth with resilience and support system is essential to address this growing issue. And the interesting thing is, or the sad thing is, when a person, when you're bullied in the schoolyard, but everyone is on the computer, everyone is on the phone. They spend more time on the phone and on these devices than with family or anywhere else. Therefore, the chance of others seeing what is going on is even higher. So, therefore, when a person is experiencing cyberbullying, it's hard to get away from that. And media. Don't use media, because that's your life. That's what they do. So saying that doesn't help. It's helping them by rejecting bullying behavior, supporting your peers, and raising your voices for kindness, empathy, and love. And something that was said earlier about how much do you say to those you deem as friends. there's limitation way that they don't feel like you're interrogating them, but that you are interested in how their day went. Just the same way you can come in and share with them how your day went. So because sometimes you start from that, sharing how was your day. And by sharing how was your day, you can say, and how was your day? Because now I have shared with you my day, how my day went. So these are things that using techniques develop, you know your environment, you know your home. So you know your child, you know your family dynamics. So you create that safe place or comfort zone for conversation, for dialoguing. Setting boundaries. Parents can set rules around internet use, such as time limits and guidelines on appropriate websites and apps. Monitoring while respecting privacy, and we hear Mr. All talk about the privacy aspect. While respecting privacy, parents can mentor their child's online activity, check privacy settings, and keep an eye on for signs and cyberbullying. Let us educate ourselves as parents to be able to be effective in helping our children to combat cyberbullying. So in conclusion, creating a safer world together, empowering youth to combat cyberbullying to combat bullying and cyberbullying is not just about protecting individuals. It is about creating a culture where kindness prevails over cruelty. It's about building a world where every young person feels safe, valued, and heard. To the youth here today, know this: you are powerful, you are appreciated, you are respected, and you are loved. You can create the change you want to see. Do you all believe that? You can create the change you want to see? Yes. Your voices matters. Your action matters. And together, with community organizational backing, you can make the online and offline world safer for all. Thank you.
Make the change you want to see. So what does that mean? That we shouldn't point fingers. We should start by changing ourselves, and then suddenly the environment starts changing. Doctor, Your Excellency, you're amazing. How are you? A bigger hand clap for her. Thank you. She's given us all the answers, the causes, the symptoms, and everything else. All the answers. Again, emphasizing family. That's very important because it's the nuclear area where the whole government is built on. Can you imagine? Once we have problems in families, that means the whole government is in deep trouble. It makes things very, very difficult. It's time for lunch. Write it down in bold letters, so that when we are reading it out later in our panel, it can visibly be seen, so that you get an appropriate answer for that question. I know that we had very many questions for Mr. Conrad, and trust me, for Barbara, you are in trouble. We are going to ask you questions, so please prepare, and I know that you have all the answers. In these 6 remaining minutes, as we prepare to go for lunch, I just want to recognize a few people, just a few people. Don't worry, lunch is getting ready. We don't want to go and start putting our chief chef on tension when she's not ready, so she's giving us 10 minutes back. By the time I walked here, it is 6 minutes now. Now turn to your neighbor. Come on. Turn to your neighbor. Tell them how beautiful and handsome they are. Irrespective of whether they have faced cyberbullying, it does not matter. They are beautiful. Cyberbullying didn't kill them, it didn't take them away. But the fact that they are amazing. necklace is missing, or the belt should have been green and is red, you know. Tell them that they're wearing very nice shoes. Come on, tell them they're putting on sandals and sneakers and they're probably looking better with a boot on or something, you know, and you know, tell them that that particular color that they are putting on is appropriate for that event. Please tell them even if they're in black and white, not in purple and pink or green or whatever. Just make them feel better. Sometimes when we speak these positives, they make the world a whole lot better. Okay? So I will recognize it's very, very important. People that have graced this event, but of course have done a lot of good out in the community. Miss Doreen Kajumba was one of the people that reported here probably earliest. Doreen is on most of the events that we always get in the community. She will miss that shift, give up that money, give up that paycheck, just to be there in support of every community conference that is there. And we want to thank you and appreciate you. Who is Doreen Kajumba? A mother of 5 beautiful children. Mother of 5? She's very young for that. She runs a charity called the Center for Social Justice Initiatives that support survivors of gender-based violence. Do you know that many times our partners actually cyberbullying with her? I am number 1 on your list. Doreen, we want to thank you so much. When I was coming to Canada, that is the very first name that I was given. Sure that lunch is about to be ready. We have the CEOs of Canadian Foundation. Mr. Sesanga is here, Mr. Sesanga and family. Claire is here as well. And just recently, they gave us, they're the organizers of the Global Conference on Substance Misuse, Addiction, Suicide, and Mental Resilience. This conference is going to be there again next year in September. We want to thank you. It was a beautiful conference where we had young people present big papers. You can imagine at 17 years if someone can present a paper for everybody in the adults to enjoy. What will happen when they turn 20 or 25? So we want to thank you for that beautiful, beautiful. And all substance use is a very big challenge in the city of Toronto. Thank you. I will recognize and welcome the 3rd International Summit on Mental Health and Disability 2025. Okay. By the way, I'm very surprised that people are not taking these kalangos on video. The CEOs, where are you? You can use this as your kalango when your event is about to, and I will not ask you for any money. But when you come privately, trust me, you will have to pay for me to give you this kalango. So I want to thank the organizers of that International Summit on Mental Health and Disability. That is, we shall have it 2025. And this is none other than Mulongo. Another person that has to be at every event. Mr. Sesanga and wife, they have to be at every event. And guess what? They come with their entire family. All the boys and girls have to come. Even if they miss school that day, Friday is a school day, they have to bring their entire family. What does that mean? That we are a family when we are handling societal problems. So we want to thank you. In a very special way, I'm recognizing Mr. Innocent, thank you. And I want to thank Mr. Innocent. In February 2024, he is the first person who gave me an event to be MC. And from that time, every weekend I'm somewhere doing something in a conference. That was too much trust. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Lunch is being served, so don't stay here listening to me. Go and serve lunch because we have an amazing package in the afternoon, and that's when we shall also have a very, very wonderful panel for questions. So go and serve. And somebody telling me, go and serve as well. Yes, I'm going right away. Okay, so let's go serve lunch, and then later I will recognize other people. We are going to have an amazing presentation from Toronto Police. Yes, so get ready. Immediately after lunch, we are having amazing people that are going to tell us exactly what happens when you're cyberbullying, and we are having that after lunch, immediately after lunch, and thereafter we shall have a panel of all questions. questions. So write them down, definitely, and then we shall have a wonderful moment. Go and serve lunch. Make sure you don't miss that vegetable, the fruit, Mr. Barrett DJ. Go and
Kids never tell their parents because they feel ashamed. So we need to be on top of that as parents, as caregivers, as educators, what have you. Because if we can stop that before it even starts, that is the most ideal situation. Because as everybody knows, once a picture gets out there, once a video gets out there, it is essentially there forever. People can, copy it, send it out to whoever. You have no control over that media anymore, right? So we really need to stop it before it happens. So I won't belabor this, but it's very kind of similar to the end there. So that's just until the beginning of this year. Again, it could obviously change. TikTok is obviously a huge one, and probably will still grow. Facebook is just pretty popular all over the world, but I'm pretty sure young kids here don't really use it. It's mostly Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok for sure. Another big thing with the youth is social media influencers. Huge. I think I did this a couple years ago, so this has changed actually. So the top here you have Cristiano Ronaldo, the soccer player, and obviously that's worldwide, makes sense. Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande. Actually, Selena Gomez, I think, has moved into second position as of this year in September. So these will change and interchange, but these are the idols that your kids are looking up to, right? These are the things that they see all the time. These are the influencers, and these are the things that the youth and adults are all interested in. What do they like? What are they doing, right? This is just the rest of the list, but you can see here singers, musicians, actors, athletes, very, very popular. Everybody has social media now, right? Especially the famous people. And another thing is the gamers, right? Gamers and streamers are huge now. I haven't updated this in the last year, so I would put on some of the very popular streamers these days. But yeah, you can see even here. You've got PewDiePie, I don't know if you guys have heard of that person. He's kind of like a negative spin on things. So probably good that if you don't know about it. I think everybody knows about Mr. Beast. Super popular. And I'm only bringing this up, so if you can hear this. I'm only bringing it up as an example that he has his videos out there that are already popular, but they've been translated into many different languages, so they're completely accessible to the whole world. And so it's totally garnered his reach even that much further. So this is just an example, like an old video where he's kind of duplicating that show, Squid Game, and he gets a bunch of contestants on there, just mimicking the actual game. Nobody gets hurt, but they're just kind of mimicking what happens in that series. But like I said, his videos are translated and dubbed in different languages. He has different channels in different languages. And he's super, super popular. I think he's still up there, even with all the drama that's happened recently with him. So, in terms of apps, these are just a few. They just scratch the surface. Your kids and yourself probably have some or all of these. Are there any apps that are super popular that you think maybe as an officer I should be aware of? That's kind of trending that you don't see there.
Oh yeah, that's one.
Is YouTube exactly? Thank you. YouTube is huge. YouTube Shorts. My daughter's big on that. Beagle? What's that? Live streaming. Thank you. So every day, new apps. Companies want to maximize on this, right? There's unlimited, basically, finances that can be garnered from this, right? I'm not going to play this video, but this is about, have you ever seen the show, I think it's called You, on Netflix? So there's just a part in the show where I'll just turn the audio off, but he's just kind of showing how easy it is to find somebody who has a public persona online. So So if your social media apps and your life are just kind of out there in the public sphere, then anybody can find you. They can look at what you like, they can look at where you've been, they can look at your family, your friends, your school, even maybe where you live, where you frequent. So probably everybody has privacy settings, probably everybody has safeguards, but sometimes when you install a new app, it defaults to just being open, right? Location services are just on by default. So you have to take the initiative to make sure what it is that you're exposing out there. But yeah, so he's able to see her whole life. So she blasts her whole life, her social life on there, her friends, and he's able to know so much about her. And we really have to think about that. Maybe you safeguard your stuff, but you have a family member or a friend that's very public. Maybe they need it for their business or something. So again, not a bad thing per se, but you just have to be aware, and you have to be aware of what's shared. Somebody really wants to find you, they possibly can, right? Because that's really what my job is essentially. My team looks for people's public, open source, available, persona, and if we can find them, find their real identity, or find family members, whatever the case may be, it's out there. If I can find it, then anybody can find it. And if somebody has, some sort of negative reason or nefarious reason to want to, then they have the investment and the desire to go as far as they possibly can. So just want everyone to think about that and just be very safe. So this is another example, just a social media experiment that this, I think he's an actor and an internet sort of personality. This was taken a few years ago. But he basically goes out there and he is able to find people that post things live and then find them live.
Personal social media posts. I got it by searching for the closest Twitter, Instagram, and other social media posts to my current location. Let's go. Sorry to bother you. Is your name Jessica? Yeah. I'm Jack. Hi, nice to meet you. How are you? Ashley. Whenever it comes to me and I know who it is, I know it's weird, but I have to shout it out to see if I'm right, and in that case I was right, so... What? You're right now. Are you Stephanie? How you doing? I'm Jack.
Did you just make that up when you said that?
No, Elena, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I was just gonna say happy birthday. Someone in your family is referred to as Pops. Is it like a dad or a grandpa or something? Yeah. Really? Yeah. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you too, because I know you were actually, I should have said it to you because you're before, right? Anyway, well, it's been like 7 weeks now or something like that. But anyway, good to see you guys. See you later. Like a little white curly dog, sort of like a little white dog. It wasn't Paris, so it was like the first few letters, like Pear or Par or something like that. Am I right? Seriously? Blanca or Blanca? Is that right? Blanca. It's what?
Let me go back.
Blanca. Okay, is that your mom?
Are you going out?
Mayor, I feel like, or something like that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Recently, we had lunch there or something. They had chicken. There was chicken involved. I know for sure. I know. Nikki. Is it right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Who's like Richard? I keep thinking Richard. What is it? Richard Parker, like Peter Parker. Then I had a Spider-Man flashback. Yeah, last name starts with a K.
So everybody takes this pretty lightheartedly, but at the end of this experiment, he just shows that actually some people don't like this, right? I think most people would not like to be invaded, right? You have your privacy, you don't realize that when you post it publicly, you are sharing that with the world. But then when someone confronts you with it, it's like, whoa, like, that's kind of private, and maybe I didn't want them to know my name, my dog's name, that's my birthday. Really personal information, right? Where I go to eat dinner, what meal I had, right? And who I associate with. So yeah, these two gentlemen, that's why they blurred their faces out. They weren't happy about it. And again, he's just saying like, thanks for invading our privacy. So obviously, as a police officer, I investigated criminal offenses. Right now, I'm just more in a support role where we assist the divisions. But previous to that, I worked in the child exploitation unit for 5 years. So we dealt with, all sort of child exploitation related offenses, luring, child pornography, obviously, stuff like that. So very, very serious, heinous crimes. I'll just pass this. I'll just quickly just say that there are a lot of resources out there. This one is from the RCMP. Just a short video, but like on their website, there's just a lot of resources for adults and children. A lot of cyberbullying because it's such a big, serious issue, and there's just a lot of information and a lot of help for everyone. I'll get to that at the very end. There's 2 sites that I personally can attest to. There are so many though. There's a lot from America, but these 2 at the end are specifically from Canada. But just a lot of good information. There's a lot of information for parents, for children, for youth, for teens, for educators. I think there's even like a section for one of the sites I saw for school bus drivers. There's just so many different roles and so many different, communities that this touches that it's important for everyone to stay informed. So in terms of social media, where cyberbullying seems to happen the most, again, this is just a very generalization. I don't think it has changed too much over the last few years. Obviously one platform could just go more than another at any time. But it's just good to know. Instagram is pretty big. I know it's big in my daughter's school. Some other schools are different. I know one of her friends, their school, Snapchat is really big for some reason. So it doesn't matter what app it is. I would say that there's good and bad in everything, right? We just need to be on top of it. But just so you know, Instagram, still Facebook, worldwide, I think, Snapchat, WhatsApp, YouTube, Twitter. Those seem to be the main ones. So I brought up this example because I don't know if you guys know Chrissy Teigen. I think she's a model and she became sort of like famous for social media stuff. She's married to John Legend, who's a musical artist. So they're both in the public eye. And I think when her career started to take off with him, it got more popular. People started digging up her past posts. And this is from over a decade ago. So just imagine you're a younger person and you're just, having online feuds with whoever. And you probably are going to say things that you regret. But it's there. And I would assume that she regrets these things because they're pretty mean. She's talking about this one particular girl that was on some sort of, I think a reality show. But she says some pretty cutting things. So this affected her 10 years later, when she was trying to, have her own product and her own persona online for her and her family. And people still bring this up with what she had said in the past. So just a good reminder for everybody, especially kids. I think someone already spoke to it before. You want to retaliate. You want to speak out of emotion, and it's really hard, right? Especially when you just have your device right in front of you. It's so easy, and you have this wall of anonymity sometimes, right? So you can just say the meanest thing, whatever's in your heart that moment. But it could affect your career, right? It could affect your school. These are all things that people look at now, even for the police. One of the things that my understanding is when they get hired, they're going to look at your social media now, and they're going to get you to tighten it up. So I'm pretty sure that's across the board with every job now. Whatever you're trying to apply for, they're going to look at what your social media. Did you have a question? Oh, yeah. I won't belabor this. Everybody's already gone, the speakers this morning were wonderful, and they've already gone over some of these impacts, but these are certainly the impacts that can happen and do happen. And again, not just children to adults. There's no, there's no just one group that this touches. This touches really everybody. But it is a good thing to think about when, your kid comes home, or somebody that you care about comes home, and their personality changes. And there's like cues that we need to take care of each other. And even kids at school, if your friend just starts to, act with themselves, it's not a bad idea to just ask them. If they're not ready to talk about it, that's one thing, but it's not a bad thing as a friend to, hold up your hand and be a listening ear, because maybe that will, be the thing that helps them just kind of come out with whatever, they need to talk about. Another great video from one of the sites, I think this is actually Canada.ca cyberbullying, but it's just, again, just more informative stuff. You can find it everywhere. It's just the same message, right? We really need to hammer this home. We need to stop this from occurring. We need to support the people that are enduring it, because it's all around the world. It's the people that we love, and these impacts don't just go away, right? They could be lifelong. So yeah, that's just another, I just wanted to bring this up. It's an old video, but it's kind of a different twist. So what's kind of rampant right now in schools are viral fight videos. I'm sure you've all seen them. The kids definitely have. They definitely share them. They are like, it has just gone totally bananas. So it's a serious problem. It's almost encouraged because kids keep sharing them and keep creating new ones. And there are kids that are getting severely bullied, and then the video of it impacts them a secondary time, right, on another level. So I'll just show this one. It's not, I'm not going to show like the fight or anything, but it's just a different twist on it.
Surrounds them, somewhat egging them on, laughing at them. Ali, in a very calm manner, gets between the boys, gets them to stop, and by the end, even gets them to shake them.
Anybody who's sitting on the car and decided that he didn't like, he on that law. He said, I'm not leaving too much she can. This was not safe. It was like, it's getting out there, I think, for a while.
I follow up with a story a year later, because sometimes we just kind of hear about stuff and we don't know what happens. But the news actually followed up with that as well.
And as Michelle Miller found out, the fights around the world and its peaceful resolution have changed the young men's lives and their New Jersey community.
In the midst of Atlantic City street fight last March, while young bystanders reported every swing, neighbor Ali Miller stepped in, broke it up.
Can be the dam for that continuing, then it only benefits all the victims. And I will just bring this up very quickly. When I worked in exploitation, I didn't know much about that world at the time, but I went to a bunch of conferences and victim survivors would get up, and the thing that really stuck out to me initially was the abuse that they endured by a loved one. They could get over, but it was thinking about that material just being online forever that just caused them so much anxiety, and there was no end to it. So if everyone could just think about that, it's not that much different with cyberbullying, these viral fight videos. That, basically that crime potentially, is just on the internet forever, and people have that against you potentially, right? And just knowing that it's out there is a huge, huge impact. It's impacts that we've never even known that we would have before the internet, right? This is all new to us, so it's very, very serious. So I think this is common sense, but you should only be friends with people you know in real life, right? I'm sure we teach all our kids this, but kids don't follow that rule, and a lot of adults don't either. You think you know who you're talking to, right? There's a lot of romance stands out there. You think you're talking to a beautiful man or a beautiful woman, but you're not. You have no idea who you're talking to. Like, this is just a take on like Austin Powers' character, where he's purposefully trying to be undesirable. I'm not saying that everybody is like that or anything. It's just you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know if this person is good or bad, what they've done in the past, what they know about you, and what they're willing to do. I won't get too into this just because of the audience, but I just wanted to point out this particular criminal offense. So it was enacted in 2015, and it became an offense because of our changing world and the internet. So prior to this, having any sexualized image of anyone under the age of 18 was considered child pornography. But that kind of encompassed a lot, way too much. There were kids sharing intimate photos with one another, and they're not a predator per se, right? They can be, but a lot of them are just kids. They're not a pedophile, right? So they had to come up with something that was more specific to that type of offense, and also for people that are over the age of 18. So if anyone shares your intimate images without your consent, it's a criminal offense. And that's just the wording straight out of the Canada Criminal Code. And this is the definition of what an intimate image is. So anybody can look this up online, just so that you're aware of what it means and how serious it is. And so this is meant to protect you if you're in that circumstance. Human trafficking is just another serious issue, so I'm not going to delve too much into that because this is based on cyberbullying. Just know that there's a lot of different criminal offenses that have a cyber component. Just a reminder how predators work. They lure victims by using attention and affection. So kids, it's like basically a friend, right? Somebody that they can confide in. And these predators are master manipulators. This is all they do, all they want, whatever they want, and that is their goal, and they know how to get it. And it's not just one victim. They often have multiple victims, which means they have the experience building up for how to better manipulate the next person. So yeah, they'll stay on trend with fashion, with music, with games. Gaming will, again, is another place you need to really safeguard your kids, because it's definitely, there's some things going on there. Basically, anywhere kids go, predators will go, because that's where they want to go, right? That's their playground. Before TikTok, there was a platform called Musical.ly. I don't know if anybody remembers that one. So very similar. TikTok is very addicting, right? Just really quick videos. And for kids, it was amazing. They get to see themselves, right? They get to see their friends dancing, whatever. But prior to that, it was Musical.ly. And it was really popular among young girls because they could do their dance moves or do their gymnastic moves or sing or whatever. And they all aspired to be that. They aspired to be a singer, a dancer, a model, whatever. And so predators would go there and pretend to be a model agent, or a famous gym coach, or something promising them that their dreams would come true. So again, just this manipulation from the beginning. And then the things that they would ask these young girls seemed very innocent at first. Oh, I want to see you do this pose or that pose. But then eventually it would get to something a lot more nefarious. I had one case where it was a very young girl, and the predator was even able to get her to include her younger sister. So this can happen very quickly. You've got no idea what your kids are doing behind closed doors, and we need to be aware. This is just an example, I think, from a year ago, where we just assisted. So another big thing that happens, or something that's kind of unfortunately happening for young men, is they'll go online. They think they're talking to a young teenage girl. That individual will get them to send intimate images, and then they'll immediately say, "We're going to share this with your whole family, unless you give us this, right? Unless you give us money, unless you give us whatever." And this is what I'm talking about. For young men, they're not going to go to their parents. It's very embarrassing. They're going to try to figure out a way to deal with it themselves. Unfortunately, that's not the ideal way. Your parents are the ones that are going to be there for you and are going to help you, and are going to put a stop to it. But when you're in that situation, you're just in panic mode, right? So this was one of those situations where the young male never came forward. It was just that his parents found out just by chance. So what this suspect did was, okay, now go get me an iTunes card. This is not just about like sexual exploitation. This could be any sort of scam. If anybody wants you to get an iTunes card or a Google Play card, please, it's a huge red flag. Once you get it, and they're gonna ask you to take a picture of it, now they have the code for it, and then that's it. Your money's gone, we won't get it back. The police can't even get it back for you. But that's what this tactic was in this case. The thing is, in this case, he didn't even send any intimate images. He actually refused. But this individual used his face on, I guess, his social media that was accessible publicly, and then put it onto an intimate image to make it look like it was him that had taken it, but that wasn't true. But again, just another thing to try to manipulate this young male and intimidate him into getting what they wanted. So yeah, we already talked about romance scams. Again, this happens across the board, not just young people, adults, right? Where you think you've learned life experience, but you fall in love and you don't want to believe it. You don't want to believe it's a scam. But definitely it does happen, and people lose a lot of money. So these are the websites I just wanted to finish off with for you guys. Cybertip.ca is wonderful. They have a lot of good info there. And just kind of like information, just get yourself abreast of what's going on currently, what you can do in those situations. And this is another one, needhelpnow.ca. I really recommend this one for any young person, especially anyone that might worry about images that they've sent, because there's a section in it. Actually, I think the website was a bit different, so just know that they have a section, and as you can see here, you can go to a certain platform, and it'll give you step-by-step what you can do to stop that from happening, whether it's the spread of that, those pictures or those videos, reporting it to that social media app. It just kind of guides you through. But they all have resources to anyone that's going through cyberbullying. I believe there's like 24/7 help counselors that are available. So anybody that is going through that or knows somebody that goes through that, just know that there is definitely help out there. There are a lot of people that care, and you're not alone. It unfortunately happens to, I think, statistics now are half or more than half. So you're actually in the majority now. You're not even in the minority anymore. And I will say this, for cyberbullying, the statistics now are that young girls are not just the most victims in that group, they're also the biggest perpetrators. So just want you to think about that. You know how girls can be very mean. They play it in movies all the time. I grew up, as a girl, right? So I think we're all aware that for whatever reason, the social dynamic of girls and kind of like rumor spreading, and again, it's very emotionally charged sometimes. But now that the internet is there, like I said, it can be documented and recorded and be there, and it's very difficult to get back. So I think somebody asked about the signal before. So again, this is not universally accepted, and it's not something that the police have ever advocated for, because it's not a understood thing. But I believe it's you put your thumb here and then you put your hands down. Again, who's to say that will work for sure? But that is definitely has trended, and I don't know personally of any case that's worked. So I can't give that confirmation or support for that, but it is out there. So yeah, that's me, and I welcome anybody who wants to have any questions. If I don't have the answers, I'll try to find somebody that can. But that's my information.
You're amazing. I don't have a short of words. I'm speechless. A big hand clap. You opened our eyes to a lot of things that we were taking for granted, a lot of things that we just chose not to care, to understand, a lot of things that are very important. Suicide is real. The people who are abusing you on the cyber, you don't even know them. They don't affect you physically, but they affect your mental. They make you feel worthless. Before you know it, you'd rather take your life. Thank you very much. And for coming and for not going after they call you for an emergency. For staying with us. A big hand clap for joining. Now I need to know, do you have a TV program or radio program? Do you go to schools? Because this information, definitely the whole world, not just Canada, is supposed to see this and be very careful, with their lives.
The other officers that were here, they are community officers, and I know that they get asked quite often to speak at schools. My unit definitely does. We're not the main ones that do it all the time, but if we get asked, we will definitely be there if we can make the time. Because yeah, it's a huge problem. Elementary schools already, they're already dealing with this, right? And then especially that very special time before you go into high school, it's just another milestone in their lives that maybe they need some extra preparation for. Maybe we can kind of give them a heads up of what's to come, and they can kind of safeguard themselves.
Wow, lovely. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now, you're not going to go right now. You're going to take a seat over here, okay? And just wait for the hot questions. Don't worry, they will be simple for you to answer. You have all the answers. May I ask Conrad to come as well? And then Dr. Barbara, where is she? Where's the pretty face? Please come over here as well, because we are going through question and answers. And of course, after the questions and answers, we shall have John King of Uganda, from Uganda. We have a major representative, one on top in Canada, Mrs. Sebulime. Please stand up for recognition. Mrs. Sebulime Noelin, we want to thank you for being at every event, but not only being at every event, but also supporting the community a lot, okay? Supporting the community. She has a very important church that she usually goes to and invites very many people to go there, and that is St. Andrew's Catholic Church at Kipling. You can visit them. They usually have their services at 7 p.m. So it would be very good for you to go and commune with them. We really appreciate you. Yes, Patrick, where are you? Come and stand up for recognition. Patrick is another amazing person that has done a lot of work in community. And now this one does not only make one conference, and that will be it for us to wait for another next year. No, every week, every weekend, there's always something that he organized. Just 1 second, just tell us what is on now.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Patrick King, CJ. I work for Hope for Refugees International, and we are a refugee-led, gender-diverse-led, grassroots equity-seeking organization that works to empower refugees, asylum seekers, and newcomers to live quality lives with equity, dignity, and opportunities to realize their full potential. So we basically do broader programming around supporting refugees and newcomers in line to housing, employment, health, and GBV, gender-based violence. So it's my pleasure to be here and to learn as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very quickly, of course, as our panel, I'm doing this because I'm waiting for questions. Carol is one of those, my role models when it comes to moderation. She usually does this best, but because she was very engaged this afternoon, that's the reason why I have this microphone. Carol, stand up for recognition. We want to appreciate your beautiful, amazing moderation. She does it the best, better than me. Carol, thank you so much for being part of this. I need your questions. Anybody with a question, especially the young people? Yes, I knew that you had a question. That's why I am here. And that's why I put on pink just like you. Hot pink, moreover. Okay, stand up and give us a question. Are you ready for a question? Yeah.
What is the age, like appropriate age to have social media?
Appropriate age for social media. Very important. Dear parents, are you there? We are actually fighting for you. Mr. Alex from TD Bank, but also one of the leads of Banyachitara group. Banyachitara all the way from the Western Uganda. We appreciate you, Mr. Alex. Stand up for recognition. Thank you so much for being part of every community event, but most of all, for participating in community work. That's very lovely. Parents and children are usually, I'm old enough, I'm 16, I'm 15, I should have a phone. No, we should go on social media. No, I don't want to analog. No, I want That's a hot question. Okay, you have a question as well. And these are very good friends, so they came together. You miss school, I miss school. You're going to come to the land acknowledgement, I'm coming with you. So you know how that support comes in. Yes, please.
How long does it take the police to reach a far distance emergency?
Can you ask that again? Probably standing. I love to see how tall you are. Are you taller than me or something? Just loudly.
How long does it take the police to reach a far distance emergency?
Sorry, a far distance emergency?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a little bit difficult only because every division is very different. And some divisions are small. I started downtown in 52 and it's very, very small, so we got there very quickly, but I can't say that's because we were special. It's just that our area was quite small. I just know that when the dispatch gets an emergency call, those priority calls go right to the top, and even if people are busy doing something else, if it's not an emergency, they will take them off that call and divert them to whatever is necessary. So it's kind of like a triage system, whatever's the most urgent.
Wow.
And sorry, if I could just go back to the earlier question with Casey, if that's okay. I think this is a very difficult question, so great question. But there's no general age, obviously, right? Everybody matures differently. It's going to be between you and your parents. It's going to be how mature you are and what you've shown, I think, to prove to your parents that you can be trusted. And that has to continue, right? It doesn't just stop right there. It's got to be a continuing communication and relationship. As long as parents are aware of what is actually capable of these smartphones, they're basically computers, right? We've all got this very powerful computer in our pocket all the time, and we can do a lot of things, and so can other people. So as long as you can manage that, and you keep that open discussion with your kids all the time, it's gonna be hard to say you can never have a phone, right? You can't go until you're 18. It's just very difficult for kids these days. Everybody's on social media, their friends are on there. It would be, I think, quite a hardship if they were the ones that were singled out to not have any social media. But again, that's the choice that you're gonna have to make with your family. But that's just a balancing act that you have to navigate.
I know that Dr. Barbara, I beg your pardon, has something to add.
No, I'm in total agreement with Officer Juliet, because I think it's based on the parents and how much they think the child is mature, but at the same time, is the child taking responsibility by following what guidelines or rules that is given by the parents? Because sometimes you may say they reach the age, but they're not listening to what the parents are saying. And there's a movie that's you can all watch. It's on cyberbullying, where this young lady, she actually turned, I think it was 15, 16, somewhere there. The parents bought the computer for her, but told her that you do not go on certain media apps. But her friends influenced her to do so, and she did. And she was cyberbullied to the point she almost committed suicide. And the parents thought, okay, you're of age, but you still, because nothing is private like we hear here. So it's, again, depends on the individual, the child, and on the parents.
Having raised 4 children, 3 girls and 1 boy, I think the first thing I would say to you is there is a component of human nature that says it is pointless to complain about a thing that just is, because it always will be. And I'm hearing some of that. Well, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is because you let it be that way. If you're wondering what age to be on social media, first, have that conversation with your parents. Because there are adults who use social media and do incredibly stupid things on it. Not just malicious, or not necessarily malicious, but they do stupid things. And 2010, I published the Business Owner's Guide to Social Media. So I had been watching social media for quite a while. There are a lot of settings in social media that relate to your privacy, and a social media network can change those things at any point in time. They can move them, they can change something. One example is Facebook, and Facebook has done this. They have changed privacy settings so that what you set before is eliminated. And everything that you said was public, or friends only, or my eyes only, gets reset to public. So just because it's safe to use social media right now is very different from saying that it's safe to use social media tomorrow. Because the social media sites themselves change the rules. This isn't a one-time, one-day conversation. If you're going to use things and you're using somebody else's service, it's very different from going home, closing the door, and throwing a lock. That door's locked until you open it the next day. In social media, the platforms can change the rules whenever they want to. So you have to be consistently and constantly vigilant.
And also, we shouldn't forget that many times the media platforms actually make more money when it is bad news. Have you noticed that? When it is something negative, the viewers are more. The more the viewers, the more the money. Are we aware of that? We need to put that in perspective. Okay, beautiful, thank you. That was really wonderful response. I have a gentleman here, I have a lady here, and I have several over there. So let's have your question, and the Rapata Carol will ask.
Thank you. My name is Innocent Kalahanga, of the community of Uganda. Mine is a question, but it's more of a concern, because I think as part of the community, as we all know, cyberbullying has gone beyond and above where we've never seen it before, and if I was to start talking about it now, I think I would spend
Abantu be Canada, the Amara Girls Initiative, nateba kutegekedde olukungana oluyitibwa the Global Conference on Girl Child Empowerment olw'omwaka 2025 olugenda okubeera okuva ng'ennaku z'omwezi 2 okutuukira ddala ng'ennaku z'omwezi 23 omwezi ogwokusatu 2025 awo ku Woodbine Banquet and Convention Hall esangibwa ku 30 Vice Regent Boulevard, Toronto, Ontario M9W 7A era nga lujja kutambulira wansi w'omulamwa ogugamba nti okusitula omwana ow'obuwala obuwala olw'ebiseera eby'omu maaso ebitangavu twegatteko mu nteekateeka eno nga weewandiisa n'okufuna ticket ku $6 zokka eza Canada eri abo abagenda okwolesa, $4 eri abo abanava mu mawanga ag'ebweru, $3 eri ba international student, $2 eri abayizi abava mu Canada, ssaako ne $15 ez'abatuuze b'e Canada. Okumanya ebisingawo n'okubuukinga osobola okuba ku +147-646-145 oba okyalireko ekibanja kyaffe ku www.theamaragals.org. N'olwekyo mujje tukwatire wamu okusitula omwana ow'obuwala.
What is happening in the community, as even as we speak right now, pictures being posted, video being posted, people being abused and this and that. What is the right protocol procedure in order to reach the right, before you go to even to your lawyer? What can you do as a regular person in the community to make sure that you report that what is happening? And also, is it possible that in your department, I'm talking to the lady in the green, sorry I forgot your name, I apologize. Julie. Is it possible that there's an implication on the WhatsApp admins, the WhatsApp administrators? Are they implicated into what is being posted on those groups? And if that's the case, how are they implicated? How can they be part of the solution? Thank you.
Innocent Caroline.
My apologies.
Is just shocking. Is our community leader, and he is one of those people that we usually run to when we have issues and conflicts in community. Not because he's a police officer or anything, but because he tries his best to balance up issues and neutralize a conflict without fear or favor. So that's the reason why he's asking a question like that, because sometimes it can be really tough knowing exactly what to do when two community members have come in with a conflict. So thank you so much, especially you're such a busy personality, for being here all these hours. I'm surprised. Okay, Carol.
All right, thank you very much. And I'd like to appreciate all the panelists for the information you provided. It's very important. For the evolving world, we cannot do without social media, first of all. Myself, I can't see myself without my phone for hours. So it's very important. And as we talk about children see it the same way. My first question will go to Dr. Julie. You talked about advocacy, and my question is, at what stage does advocacy stop and we take action? Because I think every time we talk about advocating, at what time do we say, okay, community, let's come together collectively to take action? At what level do we come together? If we see things are not working out, we must also create other ways of how to get into solutions. That is number one. One of the things, yes, that's Dr. Julie. Dr. Barbara, yes, I'm sorry, Julie, it was for Dr. Barbara. And then again, we appreciate that Dr. Julie talked about how children and youth are very creative and innovative if they want to use social media. You cannot avoid them. And on the other side, there's one of the things that Dr. Barbara mentioned, that we have to ensure we train parents, but also strengthen the relationships between parents and their children. At what level do we build the nexus? Because you realize that children can do anything when they're out of home. When they're home, they are angels. So how do we strengthen the relationship between parents and children? And lastly, for both Julie and Barbara, I think it's for everyone in the room, what can we do to ensure that we have control measures? I know Innocent just talked about the control systems. What are those mechanisms, control systems that you have put in place in your working places so that we can learn from them? Because best practices are always good if we can also practice them as a community. Thank you very much.
Do we have any other questions so that they are able to address them? Oh, yes. I like the fact that gentlemen are very active and that they attended. Sometimes daddies, husbands, and gentlemen, they're not that present, even at home, some of them, sometimes. But we are happy that we have daddies, husbands, and males that are here and are trying to add value. Yes, Mr. Stop.
Thank you very much.
The whole day, what is happening in the community, as even as we speak right now, pictures being posted, video being posted, people being abused and this and that. What is the right protocol procedure in order to reach the right, before you go to even to your lawyer? What can you do as a regular person in the community to make sure that you report that what is happening? And also, is it possible that in your department, I'm talking to the lady in the green, sorry I forgot your name, I apologize. Julie. Is it possible that there's an implication or the WhatsApp admins, the WhatsApp administrators, are they implicated into what is being posted on those groups? And if that's the case, how are they implicated? How can they be part of the solution? Thank you.
Innocent Caroline, my apologies, is just shortly, is a community leader, and he is one of those people that we usually run to when we have issues and conflicts in community. Not because he's a police officer or anything, but because he tries his best to balance up issues and neutralize a conflict without fear or favor. So that's the reason why he's asking a question like that, because sometimes it can be really tough knowing exactly what to do when two community members have come in with a conflict. So thank you so much, especially you're such a busy personality, for being here all these hours. I'm surprised. Okay, Carol.
All right, thank you very much. And I'd like to appreciate all the panelists for the information you provided. It's very important. For the evolving world, we cannot do without social media, first of all. Myself, I can't see myself without my phone for 4 hours. So it's very important. And as we talk about children see it the same way. My first question will go to Dr. Julie. You talked about advocacy, and my question is, at what stage does advocacy stop and take action? Because I think every time we talk about advocating, at what time do we say, okay, community, let's come together collectively to take action? At what level do we come together? If we see things are not working out, we must also create other ways of how to get into solutions. That is number one. One of the things, yes, that's Dr. Julie. Dr. Barbara, yes, I'm sorry, Julie, it was for Dr. Barbara. And then again, we appreciate that Dr. Julie talked about how children and youth are very creative and innovative if they want to use social media. You cannot avoid them. And on the other side, there is one of the things that Dr. Barbara mentioned, that we have to ensure we train parents, but also strengthen the relationships between parents and their children. At what level do we build the nexus? Because you realize that children can do anything when they're out of home. When they're home, they are angels. So how do we strengthen the relationship between parents and children? And lastly, for both Julie and Barbara, I think it's for everyone in the room, what can we do to ensure that we have control measures? I know Innocent just talked about the control systems. What are those mechanisms, control systems that you have put in place in your working places so that we can learn from them? Because best practices are always good if we can also practice them as a community. Thank you very much.
Do we have any other question so that they are able to address them? Oh, yes. I love the fact that gentlemen are very active and that they attended. Sometimes daddies, husbands, and gentlemen, they're not that present. Even at home, some of them, sometimes. But we are happy that we have daddies, husbands, and males that are here and are trying to add value. Yes, Mr. Stop.
Thank you very much. First of all, Peggy, Daphne and your team, thank you for what you're doing to advance this cause. Thank you to the panelists. The question goes to Officer Julia. We have really appreciated what you are doing at Police, and the fact that you have researched into this topic. But as one of the participants has asked, what are we doing to mitigate? Because we don't want to be seen as if we are just there to lament. We know that these crimes were there even before internet came into use. But because of the word you used, that it goes viral, that makes it, a very complicated thing to handle, because in a very short time, it has gone all over the world. Now, as police or as government, I don't know what strategies you have to ensure that maybe one is regulation, cyber regulation, and cyber regulation comes with the cyber enforcement. You can have regulations that enforcing it becomes difficult. What makes it more complicated is the fact that there are probably two parties in this. There's a party that is gaining from the vice, and there's a party that is suffering. The parents and the rightful thinking people in society. You gave a very good example here of someone who came to intervene when the two teams were fighting. We really need someone who can come in to intervene. I don't know whether government will do this, whether government has no interest in either party. Because I know very well that when we talk about cyber or actually social media, there's a lot of business that is done on that, and probably banning it would be nearly impossible. There's one third world country that tried to ban internet, Facebook. It was during campaigns, and because one of the opposition parties was using social media to kind of personal information, and this made people to come on the streets to demonstrate. So, third world countries do not take time to think of the after effects. So they just say no more social media, they ban it, they stopped it. Stopping it is possible, but the impact, I think in a very few days, businesses lost a lot of money. Actually, there was no business going on in that country. And it wasn't only in that country because it is business between the country and the whole world. So I don't know whether you as police, rather than policing, I don't know whether you have any strategies of trying to bring to an end this kind of vice in human life.
We can have responses in case there's no one else with a question. There's some questions. I hope we are noting. I know that we are all brilliant and our memories are quite long term. Let's have these questions. Yes, I actually wanted a question to come from here.
Magic John's band here, and it's lovely to be here today and hearing something that's definitely doing well and impact. The only thing is my experience is that it's so complex, as this gentleman mentioned, that we try to find these little solutions, band-aids, as I say. It starts with family unit and community. That's number one. You know, whether it's our band or fighting with each other or not, that's just, it happens everywhere in any form. So you've got to look at ways of finding not a solution, which you need to find solutions to everything, or at least think about your actions, because it's all about action. The internet, you can choose to use it or not to. There's a choice there. But again, as the officer said, a lot of these children are so used to this technology today that when I grew up, we didn't have that. We used to play outside. But today, these technologies are having an effect on youth and adults and many people. And too much information. But thank you for having our band here today. And this is a great cause. And thank you.
Trust me, we are going to have you more times. Just get prepared for that. We have a very young, quite intelligent, as far as my observation is concerned, has something to say. Can you stand up for me, darling? I want to see how tall you are. Beautiful. How do people make microphones? That's a brilliant question. Mr. Conrad, you probably will give us an answer to that. Can we have those first, I think, before we have several others? How about that? Yeah. Conrad, we begin with you. How do they make microphones? Good question.
Aside from their manufacturers, I really want to know how this thing's made. Okay. So up here, there's a receiver. And have you ever opened up the receiver on the telephone? No, because you've never seen a telephone that hangs on a wall. Okay, so in here, there is a device that picks up the vibrations of my voice. That device translates the vibrations to, I'll call it a transducer, wrong name, but it transfers it to something that converts the vibrations.
Hello.
Camera vai, vediamo camera vai. Sounds nice. Let's take it down. One player for Kachaneko for Here we are having lunch. Hey, lunch. We are having lunch at Taj, the Amara Girls Initiative, on the conference called Cyber Harassment or Cyber Bullying. If you haven't eaten lunch, and the lunch is right here, you are late. So you better hurry up, take a Uber. Come and eat some matoke. You can sit up. Come, the food is for free. Everything is for free. And knowledge is for free. Let me go eat my food before it gets cold. Some salad, please. Thank you.
Hi, Ricky Henry Live. Ricky Henry Live. Woohoo! Shout out to Ricky Henry Live.
Canada, are you ready? The Amara Girls Initiative brings you another edition of the Global Conference on Girl Child Empowerment 2025. This will take place between the 20th to the 23rd of March 2025 at Woodbine Banquet and Convention Hall, located at 35 Regent Boulevard, Toronto, Ontario, M9W7A. This will be hosted with a purpose to empower a girl child to change the future. Don't miss to be part of this initiative. Register today and get your ticket at 600 Canadian dollars for exhibitor, $400 for international delegate. Tickets for international students at 300 Canadian dollars, $200 for local students, and 150 Canadian dollars for Canada citizens. For more information and booking, call +1647 616 1415 or visit our website on www.theamaragirls.org. Together, let's champion the girl child.